Yes, viewers of this channel, we welcome you very much to our channel. Thank you for watching our videos. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing. We want to appreciate you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much. Okay, now, if you have anybody who has ulcers or you have ulcers, please sit, watch this video till the end to make sure that you know which painkillers that you should stay away from. Okay, yeah, there are some painkillers that we are given or that we take, but in case you take this painkiller and you have ulcers, you will find your ulcers aggravated. You make your ulcers worse. Okay, and at times when you go to a hospital, very few of the medics will ask you that, do you have ulcers? Some of them will just tell them, I have headache, or I have knee pain, I have this, and then he will just give you the painkiller without asking you whether you have ulcers or you don't. So it's your responsibility to know that, oh, I have ulcers, I should not take this. It's your responsibility to know that the person I'm taking for this drug has this condition and therefore he does not need to take this medication. So, okay, but before we reach there, let's ask, or let's go through. It's just going to be a little jungle jump. We shall look through this very fast and a little here. We shall not go into much details of this, but what you need to know is this painkiller, I stay away from it because I have ulcers. Okay, what you need to know is this person I'm taking for this drug has got ulcers and he does not need to use this type of painkiller, right? Okay, first of all, what is ulcers? The peptic ulcers, the duodenal ulcers, right? The gastric ulcers. Okay, so ulcers is basically a wound in the peptic or the PUD, the peptic ulcer disease, the duodenal ulcer disease, and are basically wounds in the GIT. Okay, just like if some of you have ever slaughtered chicken, the same layer you see, like how the intestine layer of a chicken is, how the intestine layer of a cow is, that's the same layer like of a human being's intestine. Okay, so when an individual develops a wound onto these wounds is termed as ulcers. Depending on the position where these wounds have been caused, they give a better description of the ulcers. Say, if it is in the stomach, okay, the stomach is around this area here. Okay, the stomach is around this area, and if it's there, that will be called gastric ulcers. Gastric because it is in the stomach, situated in the stomach. And then the duodenum is around here, right? Around here is where we have the duodenum, because the stomach is a J-shaped. As it comes over to lie here, then it bends over here, right? So from over here, when you have whatever, a pain over here at times is basically due to duodenal ulcers, right? So we call it duodenal ulcers because it affects the stomach part called the duodenum. Alright, and the duodenum is the last part of the stomach which connects to the intestines, the small intestine, the large intestines. Okay, so as we connect, as we go down down below the duodenum, we enter the intestinal section now of the GIT. And when you have the pain below that point of the duodenum, say around in the center here, that could be intestinal ulcers, okay? And take note of this. In most cases, when people develop ulcers, when people develop cancer, abdominal cancer, intestinal cancer, colonal cancer, in most of the times, the medics keep saying you have ulcers. Okay? They keep saying you have ulcers because normally most of the medics do not have the first eyesight to think of this could be cancer, right? This could be intestinal cancer. The medics are very few of them. But in the first case, when you go and complain that you see, I have a gastric pain, I have a stomach pain, I have abdominal pain, people or a medic will think what comes into his mind first. You have abdominal pain, okay, is there diarrhea? No, I don't have diarrhea. Then a few of them will ask you that, do you pass blood stool? A few of them will ask that, right? But at times, our dear viewers, let's not take abdominal pain for granted. Abdominal pain at times can be very, very, very serious. And abdominal pain at times need a proper investigation to save your life earlier. Okay? So, let's continue with our ulcers. What are the few signs that you can feel in case of ulcers? Right? So, when somebody has ulcers, just like we covered GERD last time, okay? Ulcers, as well, you will feel a burning epigastric pain. But a burning epigastric pain is so much common in what we call gastric ulcers, okay? The gastric ulcers, the ulcers of the stomach, you will feel the pain around here and it's burning. You feel as if there's some little fire over there. And that pain is what we call the burning epigastric pain or burning epigastrium pain. So that pain is typical of a gastric ulcers. Another sign of ulcers, you feel abdominal pain and you will feel heartburn, okay? And in late stage of these gastric ulcers, you will vomit, and your vomits will contain blood stain. Your vomit will contain a blood stain, and that if you feel burning epigastric pain and then you vomit and there is some blood stain in it, then know that your ulcer is getting deadly. Know that your ulcer is becoming much, okay? Now, then in late stage as well, ulcers, simply because they are wounds, you will start passing bloody stool, what we call melena stool. Melena stool is a stool of fecal matter that has got stained with blood or is mixed up with blood. In most cases, it is coffee brown. Okay, it's coffee brown. The type of stool you pass. Okay, people, please take very, very good note of your fecal materials at times. It helps you, because this is you, is not somebody else's. So always try to look into it and see, most when you have some abdominal pain or you have a history of abdominal pain, try to look into your stool and check its color. Check, is it having some micro organs? Is it having some worms? Because this is basically you, and nobody else will come to check it for you. Okay, before you start complaining or before it becomes intense, make sure you look through it, check. Okay, check and know it, because at times it is deadly when you go and in the late stage you're diagnosed with a disease that is in late stage. Okay, ulcers, when you discover your ulcers earlier, it is easy to manage and it can easily be cured, right? And ulcers are divided into a number. We've talked of ulcers depending on the part that it has affected. Then we can talk of ulcers which is caused by bacteria, that is H. pylori. Okay, a bacteria that, ulcers that is caused by a bacteria H. pylori. Normally we need to treat that ulcer with an antibiotic because it is caused by it is caused by bacteria, right? So that kind of ulcers that is caused by bacteria, we need antibiotics to treat it. And the other ulcers that is just caused due to a high acid quantity in our gastrium, that one we just need antacids and it will calm down, right? Okay, now this comes to the most interesting part of our video that we were talking of. Remember, I told you that, okay, but before I reach there, let's look at the basic treatment of ulcers. Okay, I've talked about antacids, I've talked about antibiotics, but which are the very effective antibiotics that somebody needs to take in this case? Okay, in the case of ulcers, we normally need an antibiotic of great formula, an antibiotic that will promote healing of this wound, an antibiotic that will kill these microbes. Okay, right? Because remember, we were talking about ulcers that is being caused by by bacteria, and we are talking about ulcers that is being caused by a high accumulation of acids in our body. Okay, so for the case of antibiotics of nature that will help us very much to work on these ulcers, we shall need to have a good antibiotics just like clarithromycin. Clarithromycin is an antibiotic which is very good in terms of ulcers, and normally you only take once a day, right? Nobody likes to take drugs. I know everybody feels bad when you're swallowing a tablet, right? But not everybody. There are some few who feel like, okay, tablet is going to make my life better. I'm going to feel better after taking it, so it's my friend, because something that's gonna do good for you, though it's bad in doing, but knowing that the final result of it is good, you have to be friendly to it also. You take it with love, okay? You don't first tricks that face. Ooh, no, have a lovely face as you take it. It will also enter your body lovely and it will work on you lovely. Alright? So, on top of clarithromycin, we can use azithromycin. If you fail to get clarithromycin, you can use azithromycin. If you don't have azithromycin, you can use tetracycline. Actually, tetracycline is much more cheaper than these other two, but tetracycline, you have to take it 3 times a day, right? It's a capsule, and you need to take it in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening. It's an 8-hourly drug. That's tetracycline, right? Then The other addition on this, we need an antimicrobial, and normally we use a tinidazole or we use a metronidazole. Metronidazole is commonly known as fragile, right? And in case of ulcers, we take fragile 2 times. We take fragile in the morning and we take fragile in the evening. And normally, depending on your body weight, depending on your age, fragile, you can take 1 tablet depending on the milligram as well, because that fragile of 400 milligram, there is fragile of 200 milligram, and there is fragile of 100 milligram. So if you are an adult, you will need 400 milligram, or you will need 600 milligram, or you will need 1 gram, depending on the severity, the intensity of your condition. And for the case of the fragile, you need to take it after eating. For the case of azithromycin, clarithromycin, you need to take it after eating. Please and please, when you're given a drug, a medication, and is properly told or indicated that you take it after food, please, I beg of you, don't hesitate to take this drug without eating, right? Because why is it always advised that with this drug take it with food, with this drug take it on an empty stomach? There is study that was conducted on these several medication, and they have discovered that some medicine is properly absorbed in the GIT when it's empty, and others are properly absorbed in the GIT when is taken with food. The presence of food enhances the absorption of these tablets, of this medicine. All right? Thank you. So now we've talked about the 3 classical antibiotics. That's clarithromycin, that is azithromycin, and tetracycline. All right? And now we are adding a combination of a metronidazole or a tinidazole. All right? So tinidazole always comes in 500 milligram and 250 milligram. So tinidazole, in case of ulcer, you will take it twice a day, morning and evening. In other cases, you can take it 3 times. In other cases, those other cases, we shall talk of them in other videos that we shall shoot. All right? But for this case, the case of today, we are looking at tinidazole vis-a-vis ulcers. And tinidazole vis-a-vis ulcers, we only take it twice. 2 in the morning, 2 in the evening, or 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening, depending on the milligram of that drug. Right? So basically, on treatment of ulcer, we need to add another 3rd drug, a 3rd class of drug. And this time we are looking at antacids, right? So this brings us to a class of pantoprazole, a drug of omeprazole, a drug of magnesium, right? So all these are antacids, right? The drug of ranitidine, cimetidine, they are all antacids. And when you take them, they reduce the concentration of the acid in the GIT, and they neutralize these acids. Wow, they neutralize the acids, but remember, there is a wound in ulcer. So why do we need a combination? So these other will reduce the acid nature and the pain will subsidize, but it will not heal the wound that you have in your GIT. So since it will not heal the wound that we have in the GIT, what do? We need to take also care of these wounds. And how do we do the care for the wounds? We take the care of the wounds by taking the antibacterials, by taking the antimicrobial, and that is the clarithromycin, azithromycin, or tetracycline. And then the other is the metronidazole or tinidazole. All right. So the pantoprazole, normally we take it once in the morning, and that's all. Okay. And for the case that we have severe ulcers, at times it is advisable to take pantoprazole twice in the morning and in the evening. But as it is subsidized, you reduce the dosage. You reduce the dosage, you start taking it once. Okay. And my dear viewers, ulcer is something that takes long to heal. Okay, and it's always advisable that you treat ulcer for a period of 21 days to 2 months. All right, 21 days to 2 months. And when you're given your dosage, don't only take for 1 week and you feel better and you stop taking it. No, please ensure that you take this medication till you finish it. Okay. Reason as to why we need to have a longer duration of this medication is these microbes are stubborn, and the wounds also, being inside and always food pass by them, they keep being injured. You heal 70% and then you pass food, it takes away the 5%, and then you go back to 80% or 85% healing. So it's good you take it for a long time, such that as you continue taking, the healing keeps on increasing and increasing, so that by the time you stop or you finish your medication, the healing process has been fully achieved. All right. So our dear viewers, we reach to the section promised. Okay, which drugs are we supposed not to take when we have ulcers? All right. When we have ulcers, there are some painkillers that we should stay away from. And these painkillers include 1, Indocid. Indocid is a very good painkiller in joint pain, back pain, a good anti-inflammatory, but is very dangerous in terms of ulcers. In our country, Uganda, I don't know other countries, we use Indocid to kill rats. And how does Indocid kill rats? Remember, the same nature of the stomach wall of the rat is the same of a human being. And Indocid basically corrodes, it corrodes the GIT of these rats. When it corrodes it, then basically the rat will bleed internally and it will have no gut anymore and it will die off. So if you have ulcers and you take indomycin or Indocid, it will cause the same effect to you. It might not be that severe to reach an extent of death, but it will do the same thing of corroding your abdomen, and you will have more wounds, and your wounds will start bleeding, and believe me, you will pass melina stool as soon as possible. You take it in the morning. In the next 8 hours, as you go for your long call, you will pass melina stool if you have ulcers. Okay? So, Another painkiller that we should stay away from in case we have ulcers is ibuprofen or ibuprofen. Ibuprofen, same way, causes corrosion of the GIT. And if you can, and I know you really can, stay away from ibuprofen. It will cause extra corrosion of your GIT, and with your ulcers, or with the ulcers, it makes the matters worse. Okay? Right. A third medicine that we have to stay away from is aspirin. Aspirin, acetaminophen, acetaminophen is also a painkiller, good in pain, but deadly in terms of ulcers. You have ulcers, you take aspirin, you get more ulcers. Okay, so stay away from aspirin as well. And another is naproxen or naproxen. Naproxen is also a painkiller. It's good, but it normally, I've seen our ladies when they are in painful periods, mostly they prefer this naproxen, and it's always good, but it's deadly in terms of ulcers, so stay away from it also. All right? Yeah, so our dear viewers of this channel, whoever have ulcers, it is advisable you use just Panadol. Panadol is the most safe painkiller in ulcers because it has minimal effect to the GIT. And ulcers is a basic problem, basic wounds of the GIT. Right? So our dear viewers, thank you for watching this video, and there are other herbal or other foods that helps us to fight, to cure intestinal ulcers, and let's look at them as well, and we close this chapter once and for all. Right? Yes. What are these foods? Okay, viewers, naturally, if you have honey is a very good substance that can help heal wounds, not only intestinal wounds, but even other wounds. Okay? And how do we use honey? Okay? Most of our people, they say, take a spoon or 2 spoons of honey in the morning and evening, daily for a period of 1 month. It will help you heal these wounds. Okay, good. But it's better you get like say quarter or a half, or just say 50 mils of hot lukewarm water, and then you mix 2 spoons of honey. Right? Lukewarm water, mix 2 spoons of honey. Okay, and then you take. Okay, and our dear viewers, there is what we call the flower of banana. I don't know whether you understand if I say a flower of the banana. The flower of banana helps to heal ulcers. Okay, but how do we use it? I've seen these flowers in supermarket. Okay, but get this, cut them into small pieces. Okay, and then boil it. Right? It's advisable that if you can get charcoal, also pound it and boil it together with this flour, banana flour. When you boil it, make sure you cool it then sieve it to have that only and only juice from it. When you get that juice from it, then wait the time you are taking it, pour like a quarter a cup of 300 mils. So if you are taking a quarter of 300 mils, that is 75 mils of this solution, and add 2 spoons of honey in it and take. Ulcers will be history. Okay, that is, we've talked of the medicinal way of treating ulcers, we've talked of drugs to avoid in ulcers, and we've talked on the herbal way of treating ulcers. Our dear viewers, thank you very much for viewing our channel. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please make sure you share it with your relatives, your friends, those that have ulcers, those that don't have, because we do not know when we shall get the ulcers. What I've not talked about is the cause of ulcers, but you don't need to worry much more about the cause of ulcers. Some of the causes of ulcers is these painkillers that we've talked about. To avoid, they can cause ulcers. More so when you use them for a long period of time, they can lead to ulcers. Another thing that can lead to ulcers is taking of corrosive chemicals. Sometimes you may accidentally take the corrosive chemicals, and they will cause ulcers too. Another things is other things that can cause ulcer is basically these bacterias, all right? The bacterias, and at times the ulcers at times is caused physiologically due to a weak enteric wall. You can develop ulcers because, remember, food is ground more in the intestine. At times we swallow food which is unfully broken down, and the stomach wall keeps breaking down, so the wear and tear of the gastric wall at times or always causes ulcers as well. All right, so our dear viewers, thank you for watching our channel. Like it, share it, subscribe. Thank you very much, and have a good day.